All right, you guys are on.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call to order the open meeting of October 1st, 2020, and ask the Commission Secretary for information on today's agenda.
Each commissioner has independently reviewed the minutes of the open meeting of Thursday, September 24th, 2020, and each has informed me there's no need to discuss those minutes.
Move we approve the minutes of Thursday, September 24th, 2020.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
The commission will be taking no action on agenda item 2, docket 5 BS 246. This notice will be laid over until a later date. Each commissioner has independently reviewed the agenda and each has informed me there's no need to discuss the notices associated with agenda items 3 through 6 or the suggested minute associated with agenda item 7, approving the final strategic energy assessment for issuance.
I move we approve the notice of investigation associated with agenda item 3.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. I move we approve the notices of proceeding associated with agenda items 4 through 6.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And I move that we approve the final draft of the strategic energy assessment, docket 5 ES 110.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that brings us to our one and only item for discussion today, that is docket 3270-CE-129. This is Madison Gas and Electric Company's application for a certificate of authority to construct the O'Brien Solar Electric Generating Facility in the city of Fitchburg, and for approval of an associated renewable energy rider services agreements and approval to increase participation in their renewable energy rider from 25 to 50 megawatts. Commissioner Huebner, you are leading this discussion, so I will turn it over to you.
Super. Thank you so much, Madam Chair. Yeah, with that introduction, it was on May 15th when MG&E filed the application, and on September 3rd, the draft memo was put out for comments. We received comments from MG&E and Renew Wisconsin, and Wisconsin Industrial Energy Group sought and was granted intervention in this docket. The Commission originally approved the Renewable Energy Rider tariff in 2017 and has since approved Renewable Energy Rider contracts between MG&E and 3 customers. With that set up, my preliminary comments, opening remarks here, I think this program is working. I think it's important, could even increase going forward to the extent that these self-selecting customers are willing to pay the full costs associated with building these new resources. And if those resources can actually contribute to the utility's obligations to meet their capacity and energy needs, then this is a way to allow the utility to build and earn on new resources while holding costs down for non-participating customers. So with those opening remarks, we have 4 distinct decision items. Of course, if either of you want to make opening remarks, you can do so. The first decision item is on page 9, whether to approve the renewable energy rider agreements between MG&E and the 7 customers. The memo describes these agreements as being identical or nearly identical to the 3 previously approved RER contracts with the city of Middleton, Middleton Cross Plains School District in Dane County. And it's important to note that these 7 customers today have all willingly entered these agreements on their own initiative. So I'm at alternative 1 to approve the O'Brien RER contracts as filed. Madam Chair?
Thanks, Commissioner Huebner. I agree. I'll just kind of reiterate what you said. I would be lying if I said that I was a fan of these programs initially. I wasn't. I was a little skeptical, but I think what we have seen is that these programs are structured in a way that it's a win-win-win. And I think it's a great alternative for customers. I think it's a great program for the utilities. And I think it's a great way, especially in this particular instance, given that one of our state agencies is an off-taker. I think it's a great thing to see our state facilities kind of walking the walk, right? So we have the governor's executive order setting the goal to get us to zero carbon. And this is a perfect example of us acting as a state doing what we are asking others to do in getting to zero carbon. So I think I've now become a fan of these programs. I think that I think this is a good program, and I think that it's a win-win. So I'm with you at alternative 1.
Commissioner Nowak?
Yeah, I think this should be, I approve the contracts, and just, I guess to reiterate, I was probably also a skeptic of these at the first. It's like, how do you structure these to not harm non-participating customers? And MG&E has done a very good job here. And these customers knowingly go in, basically paying for this generation source to offset whatever other generation they're getting in. So there are some concerns, though, that I think as it grows that maybe we can talk about a little bit later, but as far as capacity and needs go on. But I think that this one is structured well. It's, you know, my biggest concern with these is harm to non-participating customers, and I think they've structured it very well so it doesn't.
Okay, super. And I think I'll just list the 7 customers. It is listed in the memo, but it's the Wisconsin Department of Administration, the University of Wisconsin-Madison, the city of Fitchburg, where the project will be located, and then 4 private companies. So Playcon Corporation, Promega Corporation, Willie Street Grocery Cooperative, and Tribe 9 Foods. The second item for decision is on page 10, and it relates to delegation. Now that the commission has seen 10 of these different contracts, the question before us is whether we should delegate final approval of substantially similar RER contracts in the future to the administrator of the Division of Energy and Regulatory Analysis. I am fine with this, so I was at alternative 1. Madam Chair?
I am as well. I was at alternative 1.
Yeah, I was a little reluctant, but I think that as long as it's substantially similar, again, and they don't go past that 50, if we approve a larger cap, as long as it doesn't go past that, because I think, again, as these grow and if there are more customer interest, we're going to have to start to take a look at what does it mean on a bigger picture. If we're going to do each of these incrementally, all of a sudden you have a big difference. So I can join you at alternative 1.
Okay, super. The third item for decision is on page 13 of the memo, and this is the request to increase the cap of the RER program from 25 megawatts to 50 megawatts. Adding the O'Brien project will put the current RER at 30.5 megawatts of solar projects. So increasing it to 50 we'll have to increase it some if we approve the project here. And then the question of increasing it to 50 would provide more headroom for additional development, additional customers to join. So I don't have any concerns about raising the cap given the success of the program to date. It seems staff is comfortable about non-participating customers still at this level being protected. And I know that there are other customers that have publicly announced, I think the city of Madison and the Madison School District, that they're signing on to a future project that will have to come before us as well. So I was at alternative 1 to approve this increase in the cap to 50 megawatts. Madam Chair?
Thank you. So this is partially where I get a little bit nervous, not nervous, but I want to be sure that we're being careful and that we're being deliberate. So I kind of went back and forth on this one. I do agree. I'm at alt 1. I would approve their request to increase it to 50 megawatts. But to reiterate what Commissioner Nowak said, I think we have to just be mindful that these programs don't get too large or too unwieldy. I think the fact that there is pent-up demand for MG&E and the way that MG&E's program is structured gives me comfort in increasing the cap in this case. I would just say that I wouldn't if I were a utility listening, I wouldn't take that as sort of, okay, well, here's a blank check. The sky's the limit with these programs. I still think we have to be careful. But in this particular case, I agree. And I'm at alt 1.
Yeah, and I
Mr. Miller.
had that same, I was like, well, I think I can get up to 50, but after that, I think we need to really have, particularly with, this will be about 10% of MG&E's peak system capacity if you go up to 50 megawatts. And, we have to start, I think, looking at the addition of additional non-dispatchable resources if it's necessary. What does that mean for the rest of the system and the other generation sources that all customers are paying for, and are they not being used, and are we displacing them? So I think that we need to really get some more details in the future on an apples to apples comparison of what does it mean to add a non-dispatchable versus maybe if they do need capacity, should we look at something that is more dispatchable? This isn't associated with any battery system. So I think I'm comfortable going to 50, but I just, think we need to be a little more beyond that. We're going to need some deeper analysis if we want to go there. So I'll join you.
Okay. Yeah, my final remark on that is we know MG&E, as I think all of our IOUs now have plans to dramatically reshape their generation portfolios going forward. And a piece of that is going to be solar, to the extent that this has been a solar program so far. So as we look at what does it look like, 10 and 20 years out, how much is solar as a total going to play? And if self-selecting customers are willing to pay the full freight, then that I think is really positive for other ratepayers. So I don't disagree that, additional analysis as to how much is this MISO energy purchases, is this other, PPAs that they're offsetting, or is it going to be a replacement for plants, plants in the future? So really good points. So our final item for decision then is on page 21 of the memo, and the memo goes through this is related to the certificate of authority issuance. So Wisconsin Stats 196-49 sub 3B lays out the statutory authority related to a CA. Briefly, that it will not substantially impair the efficiency of service of the public utility, that it won't provide facilities unreasonably in excess of probable future requirements, and that it won't add to the cost without proportionally increasing the value or quantity of service. And as this commission has done in the past, I think this project satisfies those criteria and overall is in the public interest. The staff provided all the relevant environmental information related to the project. There are no required actions related to endangered species or resources. The site will avoid wetlands. It complies with the Energy Priorities Law as a non-combustible renewable energy resource. A couple other notes from things that I think are important. The site will be seeded using a low-growth pollinator seed mix, which is good for pollinators. And MG&E proposes an 8-foot agricultural style fence, which in my view will fit in with the farming aesthetic that's present on the site. Related to this, the staff proposes 2 project-specific conditions and 7 general conditions. MG&E stated in their comments that the conditions were reasonable and they are ready and able to satisfy them. So I'm at alternative 2 to approve the CA, allowing MG&E to construct the project with all of the conditions identified by staff in the memo. Madam Chair?
I agree. I'm at alt 2.
Yep, for all the same reasons, alt 2.
Okay.
All right.
Great.
I'll move then that we approve the proposed application of Madison Gas and Electric for a certificate of authority to construct the O'Brien Solar Electric Generating Facility to increase the allowable participation in MG&E's RER from 20 to 50 megawatts, and approve also the participation of the customers in their individual contracts in docket 3270 CE 129.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 All right. That concludes our official business for today. I just want to give a public shout out to Jarrell Ballard. He's our new communications director, and this is his first open meeting. I can assure you that they don't always move along this quickly, but welcome. So our next open meeting is scheduled for Thursday, October 8th, 2020 at 10:30 a.m. May I have a motion to adjourn?
I move we stand adjourned until October 8th, 2020.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Okay, we're adjourned. Thanks, you guys. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.